Hey, I'm Stacy, and welcome to Work Smarter, insight and tools to help you accelerate your fulfillment and success. And today we are talking about how to get more from your boss. Unless you are able to special order your ideal boss on Amazon, there's got to be at least one way you wish he or she was a better manager. And oftentimes we just plod along tolerating this, hoping something will change, but there are things that you can do to get more out of that relationship, especially if you want things like clarity on what your boss actually wants from you. And if you want more face time, if you want feedback on your performance, if you want more coaching and support. So there's a lot that you can do. How do we start that? Well, first, I want you to schedule regular meeting time with your boss outside of what you already do. You probably just meet to run the numbers or solve a quick problem, or maybe you don't meet that much at all because you are an autonomy superstar and don't need that much help. What that does is actually remove you from the visibility of what you're capable of and building that healthy working alliance. So schedule time outside of the regular meetings. And then number two, to go along with that, is write an agenda for it. This is your chance to control that situation and get the most out of it. So write down what you're wanting to focus on and accomplish. Send that to your boss ahead of time, print out copies, and bring it to the meeting. And the next thing I want you to do is ask open-ended questions. Sometimes we go in and we say, okay, so do you like this? I'm gonna move this meeting to next week. Is that okay? You just ask yes or no's. I'm gonna ask Mary to collaborate. Does that sound okay to you? Yes. Okay, but that's not really understanding your boss and bringing her into the situation. So change that to open-ended questions and say, well, what are your thoughts if I asked Mary to collaborate with me on this? Or how would it be for you if I changed the date from Thursday to the following Friday? Ask those open-ended questions. And when you're bringing these thoughts to the meeting, make sure you're asking for those open-ended questions about your performance and your feedback about the solutions and what you're contributing. Okay, the next one is upgrade your verbal and non-verbal communication. What I mean by that is you probably don't realize that you are leaking things through your non-verbal behavior. If you have anything negative at all that you're carrying that's built up, maybe it's just something that's not going well. Maybe you don't like your work environment anymore. There's some resentment there, frustration. That is going to seep out. And we are attracted to people who are like us and who are positive and who are smiling. Your boss will see that, and that does make a difference on some level. So make sure you're going in there and you're controlling whatever might be coming out that's not so good. Make sure you're presenting, smiling, being positive, maybe even paying a compliment and talking about a solution that's working well. And then finally, transparency. And this is big. Oftentimes we assume that our boss knows the full extent of our efforts and our results. Probably not. They know, okay, well, there's no fire, nothing's burning, that's okay. But they don't necessarily know what you're trying to achieve in all your efforts. So send a weekly report. And this is not just, oh, well, here's the spreadsheet of the numbers that the system generates for you anyway. Think about what you can add in addition to that, an interpretive analysis of, well, here are some wins, or here's what I see about strategy. Here's a solution I was thinking of. Put in those observations that show that you see the big picture and you can be thinking and performing at another level. Okay, and I'll give you an example too. I had a client who keeps track of her books and what those numbers are, and she went to her boss at a meeting about it, and her boss said, oh, well, your books are underperforming by a certain amount of revenue. And she said, well, that's not correct. And her boss said, well, that's what the system says. Okay, so there was a discrepancy, and her boss thought she wasn't doing something right. She's actually performing poorly, which was not true. So now she's corrected that by sending those weekly reports and that additional information for transparency, and that's really turned things around. So I hope that helps with those 5 things to get more from your boss. Put those into practice. There's small steps along the way, and we'll see you next time.